Indianapolis Colts are on a bye week, but that doesn't necessarily mean there's nothing to talk about. Let's get into it. We do play the Chiefs next week. Let's get into it. First,
Aside from this weed I'm smoking, that's colored bluish. This gun is my son, I'm the father of Draco like Lucius. Ugh, make sure there's no confusions. I'm a great white, I can eat these barracudas. See who I am? You're stupid, it's nice to meet you. I just put this hole in the ground for you like a soccer cleat shoe. I see why they call you Jack Man. You Jack Man's whole swag, give Drake his flow back, man. I eat rappers like Pac-Man. Must I regurgitate to show you who's in my stomach from the last dance? I battle rap, no Instagrams or yelling at the cam. Damn, y'all made me the villain when all along I've been Batman.
lots to talk about. We will break down the Chiefs Colts matchup in the next podcast. That'll be next week's problem. But today we're going to talk about a few things. We're going to talk about Pat McAfee and Donald Trump, how everyone had a absolute losing their mind session about this happening. Talk about that. We're going to talk about best running back and the best quarterback in the league right now in this very moment, statistically. Talking about my top 5 personal ever football players. And this podcast here is going to be a bit of a yapping more than likely, but of me just kind of talking. And we'll talk about free agency for the Colts. We'll go over that. We'll talk about Dan Dockage and why he continues to be dumb, even in his if one thing he should be good at, it's sports takes, right? Because that's like what he's done for a billion years, and he sucks. So we'll talk about that. Are the Pats the best team in the NFL, or are people saying that because the Colts didn't play this week? Talk about the Pacers. They're just not good. That's unfortunate. Very, very unfortunate. But Kentucky is good. And that kind of ties into the Dan Dockage quote from a moment ago that I was talking about. So first, let's get in to Pat and Donald Trump real quick. One more thing we're going to talk about is A.D. Mitchell and his Jets debut. Lots and lots of criticism about Pat McAfee having Donald Trump on his show on a Veterans Day to support the troops. And if I'm going to be really honest with you, as soon as I watched Pat McAfee every day, and as soon as I heard Pat say that he was going to be having Trump on during that morning, I believe it was, he announced it, I knew people were going to be saying stuff just like this. Keegan says, Pat McAfee glazing Trump, this is on Twitter, isn't surprising, but still feels oddly disappointing. Been watching for many years, and despite some clear leanings, it was always felt that the boys kind of hated the whole politics thing. The goodwill they built, being anti all of it, went down the drain today. This person shares a meme that says Trump is calling into the Pat McAfee show. On my head out, it has a SpongeBob, like the SpongeBob meme. This guy says, for a guy who has no interest in politics on his ESPN show, Pat McAfee sure let Trump ramble off unlimited political lies to his massive live audience today. This could potentially hold some weight if Pat had talked about any politics at all with Trump. Pat did the opposite of talk about politics with Donald Trump. He talked about sports. He talked about the veterans. He talked about America. He didn't talk about politics at all. Now, Donald Trump said some political stuff, and Pat didn't respond in the least bit. It was not Pat knew you're not going to have Donald Trump on and him not mention the Democrats or some political stance. But when you have the opportunity to have a president on your live show, you do that. If that is an opportunity that has been afforded to you, then you do that. And this is another person. This person is named Nancy Armour. And because Pat McAfee is so famously anti-political, he uked along with it and gushed at what a great guy Donald Trump is without having any check of the actual facts. Like that, rather than the hiring Donald or Trump mentioned, the VA is on track to shed about 30,000 jobs this year, which would make it harder for veterans to get care. So he's just saying, like, Donald Trump said political stuff one more time. He said things that, whatever, Pat may not have questioned it, but again, you all said this. He cares about sports. He doesn't care about politics. So, you know, he didn't talk about politics. I don't understand. And it's like all of you, so many people are just on here being like, I still dislike everything wrong with America right now. I would describe it as Pat McAfee showing B-roll in front of a Kuwait military. Like, they showed photos of Trump while he was on there instead of him because he wasn't actually on there. He called in. But this person right here says, the slide of white former basketball stars right into right-wing shill is a shallow slope. Pat talking to Trump about veterans is laughable. He's a draft dodger. He hates wounded warriors and calls them losers. So the thing about it is people were going to be mad. And Pat said right after Trump was on, I know people are going to be mad about this, but he's the damn president. And he was able to come on the show, wanted to come on the show, so we had him on the show. That's the only thing that makes any sense. Here's what I don't understand, right? If you hate Trump, that's all fine. You just could not watch the Pat McAfee show that day. Wow, what a concept. Love everything Trump's done. I don't think anyone but Donald Trump loves everything that Trump's done. But if I had a daily talk show and the president wanted to join on Veterans Day to support the troops, I would let him. There'd be no doubt about it. I mean, it wouldn't even be close. There is no room for Pat McAfee hate here. You see his jersey. I absolutely love Pat McAfee. There will be all over my TikTok, all over my Twitter, just hate, as if Pat said, I love Donald Trump. Pat had a president, and what gets missed, here's what y'all missed, here's what y'all don't seem to understand. Right after Trump gets off the show, like 30 seconds afterward, he's like, I just want to let y'all know I reached out to Barack Obama's team. It could be happening in the future, but the scheduling didn't allow it for today. Do you think Trump would like that? The answer was no. Like, if you think that he aligns with Donald Trump perfectly, I think you don't watch the show and you don't know Pat and you shouldn't be commenting in the first place. So that's my little spiel on that, alright? Thursday Night Football happened last night, and that overtook, Drake May overtook Daniel Jones by about 100, almost 200 yards, about 190 some yards. And you know, this is because he had one more game than him right now at this point. I feel like with another game, Daniel Jones will be back on top. And another thing about it is we have the number one, two actually now in yards, quarterback in the league right now. In rushing, we have a very wide margin, 1,139 rushing yards for Jonathan Taylor, and the next one is 920 for James Cook. When we look at receivers, the crazy thing is, in the top 25, we have 3 receivers, all right? Well, we have a tight end and 2 receivers. You have Alec Pierce, Michael Pittman, and Tyler Warren. Now, the only quarterback in those top 25, that's as in total yards receiving, is indeed Tyler Warren. And no other team other than the LA Rams with Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams have 2 players that are in the top 25 in receiving yards this season. So we have second best quarterback yards wise, first best running back yards wise, and 3 of the top 25 receivers in the league yards wise right now. And one of them's a rookie. So statistically, we are doing very well. Of course, statistics don't always actually translate into, wins. However, this year it really is, and that's something I'm very excited about. Something I'm I'm happy to be a Colts fan again. That's cool. However, I'm not really a fan. I'm gonna be a Pacers fan right now. Let's go ahead and talk a little bit about the Pacers. So the Indiana Pacers cannot seem to get out of their own way. Cannot seem to win a game. They suck this year pretty bad. And I hate saying that because last year's season was so good. I mean, maybe I'm even looking forward to next season already potentially, but we don't want to get that far yet. Let's go over the last game they had a little bit. They played the Denver Nuggets, who are a very good team. That was on Saturday. What Saturday? Well, that's tomorrow. What the hell, man? Oh, they played the Suns. That was 2 games ago. I don't know what that was all about. Maybe it was loaded from the last podcast. But anyway. So they played the Suns. They lost miserably. They lost by 35 points. The Pacers just, like I said, cannot seem to get this together. Pascal scored 19. Andrew Nembhard scored 21. We're getting some of our players back. TJ was in there for 15 minutes. And we're getting some of our players back, but we're not winning. We're just getting our players back. We're not winning behind it. And I kind of thought once we started putting some of our players, TJ and Nembhard and all these guys, back on the court, that we would start maybe playing a little better. But we simply didn't. We didn't even get to 100 points. They got to 133. So overall lack of effort there, and just not good, to be honest with you. But Kentucky basketball, they are good, although Dane Knockage does not think so. So I see a post on Twitter the other day, and it's Mr. the one and only, just lovely Dan Knockage. Isn't he just great? He just gets to talk and talk all day long, and it can't make no sense, and he still gets to keep talking, even when he's just saying a bunch of bullshit. So let's listen to him.
Ass beat, huh? And now you all are mad. You're mad.
He's talking about
Kentucky got that ass beat, huh? And now you all are mad.
No,
You're
not mad at all.
At Mark Pope. Oh,
Nope.
the honeymoon is over. I saw
No.
all the little ingrates that cover Kentucky basketball. The little doughy white guys are all mad because when Kentucky doesn't play well, they don't make as much money. What are you going to...
What? So somebody who covers the game, you dumbass, Dan, somebody who covers the game gets on there and says, wow, we didn't have the best game. We made all these mistakes. We are accountable here in Kentucky for our actions. Wow. And you're like, oh, they talked about how bad the game was. Listen to what you hear. You heard what he said.
You're mad at Mark Pope.
No, we're not.
The honeymoon is over. I
No,
saw
it's
all
not.
the-
No one's mad at Mark Pope. You didn't see these little people that cover Kentucky basketball. What's he say?
Hey, Kentucky got that ass beat, huh?
No, we didn't. We lost by 8 points. See, this whole video is just bullshit. Let's just pause it second by second here to tell you how much full of shit this motherfucker is. Let's do it. Ready? Here we go.
And now you all are mad.
No, we're not mad. A little disappointed, but we're not mad.
You're mad at Mark Pope.
Uh-uh.
Oh, the honeymoon is over. I saw
No, it's not. He's just getting started. The fuck?
all the little ingrates that cover Kentucky basketball. The little doughy white guy.
Are you good?
Guys are all mad because when Kentucky doesn't play well, they don't make as much money.
What? They're mad because Kentucky didn't play well, dude. They get paid to cover the fucking Kentucky Wildcats. Whether they lose or win, they get paid. Oh, they don't make as much money, so they're mad. They point out what's wrong with the damn team. Dan. Dumbass. Where is it at? I done skipped ahead too much. Hold on.
Hey, Kentucky got that basketball. The little doughy white guys are all mad because when Kentucky doesn't play well, they don't make as much money.
Whatever.
What are you going to do, fire this coach too?
No. We're not going to fire this coach too. We're just going to look at what he did wrong when he did it wrong and talk about it, you dumbass.
Kentucky, is that what we're going to do? I mean, you love it.
No.
You know,
No,
nobody's
we wouldn't
good
love
enough
it.
to coach in that cesspool among you.
What? Nobody's going to... Dude, what are you talking about? We had the same coach for fucking how long? Like, What are you talking about, man? Are you fucked up? Like, you hate Kentucky I don't hate IU. I occasionally watch IU. Like, are you this full of hate for Kentucky basketball that you had to say this and call it a sesamo and you successful folk? Shut the fuck up.
Successful folk. But Louisville and Pat Kelsey in about a year have come in and become...
Oh, but Louisville is just the fucking greatest.
preeminent program in the state of Kentucky. What do you all call it? The common...
No. Just because we lost one game does not mean we're not the best school in Kentucky magically. You just don't watch college basketball as only option, or you just sit and watch IU lose a bunch, and then now you're mad about it. Or you watched IU lose from the fucking sidelines, and you were all mad about it. You coached at IU and couldn't win the fucking game. Why don't you just shut the fuck up and enjoy basketball as a college basketball enjoyer? And if you're going to talk about something, actually watch the fucking games, especially as a guy who gets paid a fuck ton of money to be dumb as fuck. Let me calm down.
Well, you got your ass kicked last night. Tell you who else got their ass kicked in a really impressive performance was Creighton got their ass kicked. Boy, is Gonzaga good. They beat Oklahoma, and now they beat Creighton by a bunch. Good win for Illinois last night. Texas Tech came in the State Farm Center.
Oh, yeah.
These games are at home. I do home and away. I think they're absolutely great.
Oh, yeah, I bet. Yeah, bye-bye. It says right here.
Of a light day. But I got to tell you, man, Louisville looks damn good. And we all know the freshman class is great, so I'm not going to bore you with that.
Right.
But the most amazing thing
Louisville
to me
looks so good.
is how hard and how quick a school like Louisville, how hard those kids play, how quick they change that around from maybe Kenny Payne's worst culture in college basketball. That's what he had. It was lazy. It was entitled. It was NBA. It was ridiculous.
No one that is a Kentucky fan who's reasonable is mad that Louisville beat us. We understand that we only lost by 8 points. You're acting like we got blown out by 30. And on top of that, you realize that if you're talking this good about Louisville might be the best team, and we hung around with Louisville, then what are you saying, Dan? Do you watch college basketball, I ask you again, other than IU?
It was idiotic and good for the powers.
Also.
Pulling the trigger.
Just talking up Louisville after acting like Kentucky ain't shit is fucking so funny. Louisville's a great basketball team. Not saying they're not. I watched them play. I watched how good that they were. But at the end of the day, Kentucky hung with them motherfuckers and is just as good as them. It could have easily beat them had they just not made some dumbass errors. We didn't do well in the game. And I don't understand why people who are fans of teams... I don't think Dan's offended anyone besides himself and IU. But anyway, I know he's talking up the other teams here, but he's just filled with hate for just no reason. But anyway, my whole entire point here is I can appreciate Louisville and not have to talk shit about IU or about Louisville, or even when we play each other, sure, it's fuck Louisville, it's fuck IU, but you have to win something. Last season, neither one of these two teams that you say are so good, IU and Louisville, won anything, but Kentucky did with Mark Pope, who you're like, oh, you're all turning your back on the honeymoon. No, we didn't. We're not like that. We're not fair weather fans. We trust Mark Pope, okay? So, Dan, just shut up, my man. Just shut up and actually watch college basketball. At least watch the teams you're going to talk shit about. All right. Got my rant of the day out. Appreciate that. Now, what we're going to do is talk about my top 5 favorite basketball. But you know what? Since we're talking about basketball, why don't we do that? Why don't we switch gears? Because I have my top 5 football, basketball. We'll do football another day. Top 5 favorite basketball players of all time. Y'all are going to very much hate this list. And it's number 1, just fresh off the heels of talking about Dan Dockage, why don't we just skyrocket this? LeBron James is the best basketball player to ever walk the face of the earth. He is the best basketball player ever. And there's not really a debate to me. And here's the main reason. There's 2 big ones. 1. Did Michael Jordan left the game of basketball and went and played baseball? Left it, abandoned it completely. And he won 6-0 in the finals. There's no denying that. But it never beat Larry Bird in the finals. Never beat anybody really that good in the finals. There's that. On top of that, he didn't play nearly as long as LeBron did. LeBron didn't leave in the middle of his career. LeBron is best player of all time because he's been at his level for 20 years. Nobody else has ever done that. So he's the best basketball player of all time. 2 is easily a Michael Jordan, and the reason Michael Jordan is number 2 is because of all of his success in the finals. So he was great at winning when the time came, right? That doesn't make you the best basketball player ever. That makes you maybe the best winner in the finals of all time. That's what Jordan is. So that's my 1, and that's my 2, and those are the reasons why. Number 3 is definitely going to be somebody probably not a lot of people are going to necessarily agree with, but to me, it's easy. It's Bill Russell. And it's because he won 11 championships, and I think if you do that, you deserve to be on a top 5 greatest players of all time list. And that's just that simple. Number 4 is Larry Bird. And the reason it's Larry Bird is a lot of reasons. He won 3 NBA championships, but he's also from Indiana, which I really like. And again, this is my favorite teams, just to let you know. Not the greatest of all time. That'd be a little bit of a different list. These are my favorite basketball player. Excuse me. So that's 1 through 4. And number 5 will probably be a little controversial as well, but it's Shaq. I love Shaq. I feel like Shaq is he is the epiphany of being very good at 3 things, and just exploiting what you're good at he's big. So that leads him to be good at rebounding, it leads him to be good at dunking, that leads him to be good at, in the paint. That's what he was great at. That's what he did. And he did a great job, but he's great at defense. And so that's my little top 5 favorite basketball players of all time list right there. So according to, if you look up best team in the NFL right now, it's going to be, the Patriots, which we as Colts fans have, experienced a lot. But the Patriots have the MVP frontrunner and Drake May. And, they played the Jets last night, a game in which threw for 281 yards, 25 completions on 34 attempts. Justin Fields threw 15 completions on 26 attempts for 116 yards and a touchdown. And as a group, they had more passing yards, but more rushing yards out of the Jets. This is just looking at some stats here. And then a yards per play where the Patriots again by 5.4, 23 first downs for the Patriots and 15 for the Jets. Fourth down and third down efficiency looks like it really killed them. And lost the fumble by the Jets there. So, the Patriots walk over the Jets, and then someone says they're better than the Colts. That's fine. The Patriots haven't played a ton of very good teams. They have played... Let's see if I can pull it up real quick. Right, okay. They got beat by the Raiders in the first game of the season. Then they beat the Dolphins. The Steelers beat them by a touchdown. Then they beat the Panthers. Then they beat the Bills. That's a good win. That's a quality win. Then they beat the Saints. Then they beat the Titans. Then they beat the Browns. Then they beat the Falcons by a point. Falcons are a tough team, bro. Then they beat the Buccaneers by 5. So, it looks like they've had a couple of pretty good tests. 2-3 pretty good tests there. And, they look very good. Drake May looks very good. I can't deny it. I think that whole team really is bought in. And it'll be interesting to see who comes out on the top of the AFC. I think it'll be an old school race between the Colts and the Patriots, and that will be really, really cool. I think that's about all. I could ramble for days about things, but I'll just say this, man. I really feel this strongly. If you're a person who gets paid as much money as these people do, I don't even get paid to do this at all, and I still try to be a little more diligent in the things that I say and do, and not just watch one game and then say a team's done, or a team's this or a team's that. So, just use your brains when you guys cover sports, talk about sports. But thank you guys so much for watching, and bye-bye.